Business and Bourbon.
You were rump shaking in them diapers.
Right, exactly. I can sing, man. I'm a singer, bro.
Go ahead, sing for him right now.
Why you trying to expose me right now, bro?
Something that I know that you're passionate about too, mental health, right?
My father was a product of rape. Damn. Yeah, it's just crazy that a person who's had success can still be held back from things that happened in their childhood.
This is real talk. Like, we're not going to sugarcoat things.
All those years of this hyper-masculine environment where the last thing you want to do is talk about your emotions.
Be tough.
Right.
Suck it up.
Nah, the smart ones, the guys.
Process it so that you can perform at a high level. For 2 weeks, I couldn't keep my emotions straight. I'm crying like a baby.
Sports teams now have some type of psychologist. They have some type of mental performance coach.
Get you a therapist. I talk about mine a lot.
I've had to unpack and unlearn so many things from the football field. It don't matter how many stimulus checks you get. If you are mentally, spiritually broke, life is going to make you face yourself. You can't succeed your way out of trauma and negative patterns.
Welcome back to Business and Bourbon, where we have real talk with the real people. I'm Ronell Richards, the creator and host of Business and Bourbon, and I want to welcome you to episode 2 of our interview and conversation with Rennie Curran. And when Rennie and I sat down in the bar, we had such a great conversation. Just really vibed, talking about his journey, talking about his ambition, talking about our shared experiences that you guys can no doubt identify with. So it went a little bit long, which I think is awesome. So we decided to cut it into 2 episodes for you, 2 episodes to enjoy. So with no further ado, it's time for episode 2. So grab your glass, grab your cup, grab your mug, whatever it is, pour that beverage in there. Some coffee, some bourbon, wine, whatever it is you like to drink. Sit down with us here at the bar and enjoy a little business and bourbon.
So, hey, I want to shift gears real quick.
Okay.
Because this is Business and Bourbon, man. I like to have fun.
Yeah.
I asked you some questions. Let's see. What's your favorite drink? We're going to work on this. We're going to work on your favorite
Why you
drink.
trying to expose me right now, bro? So, because I was an athlete, I obviously wasn't a drinker,
Yes.
man. Yeah, so I kept it simple. I'm embarrassed to admit, I went through college, my first drink was a vodka cranberry.
Yeah, and
that's
you
when
just
I
stuck
started
with it.
Yeah, I just stuck a vodka cranberry, and if I was feeling real risky, then I'll get a Long Island.
Okay.
Yeah,
so first thing we're going to say, and this is the one thing I want you to learn from me in this
Please
podcast, is that the Long Island, gone. Don't ever drink.
Oh, no, nah.
That was
ever
again.
Young and dumb days, man.
Because that is just a garbage drink. It is their way of,
so I say you just
getting rid
me,
of all of their well garbage. Let's put
Thanks.
out a bunch of crap in the glass and here you go, college student.
Wow, yeah. I appreciate
that. Vodka Cran, okay, I can get with you on that because that is one of the healthiest of cocktails.
Right.
Assuming that it's real cranberry and not like cranberry cocktail, which is just...
It's probably that. Yeah, it's probably a red drink or whatever.
You got it. It's got to be real cranberry, man, because that's good for your kidneys. What it's going to do is it's going to counteract the effects of the vodka.
Nice.
Because it's good for your kidneys and your blood, your brain health, and all that good stuff. All right.
Antioxidants and all that. I got you.
What else did I ask you? Oh, yeah, because I'm a music guy. I can rock with you. So I asked you your favorite hip-hop artist or musician, and you said...
It's a tie. It's a tie between Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole, and then gotta show love to Pharrell, man.
Oh, yes.
Pharrell's a legend.
So I am there with you.
Yeah.
With all of it but one. And y'all know Toronto. Y'all know I love y'all. We were in Toronto last September for Business and Bourbon, and it was dope. Y'all showed me so much love. Love Toronto. Love Canada. If it wasn't so damn cold, I might consider moving there.
Yeah.
But Toronto's dope. But Drake, come on, man. All the singing. Come on, man.
Only because, what was the album when he first came out with? Thank Me Later?
Yeah.
That was monumental, man.
Yeah.
That came out when I was in college. I just want to be successful, bro.
It's an emotional connection.
Oh, my gosh.
But all this singing stuff, tell me you get with all this singing stuff.
I'm a singer. I can sing, man. I'm a singer, bro.
Go ahead, sing for him right now.
I ain't gonna. They ain't ready for that, man. You know.
You're a studio singer. No, I'm just messing with you. No, you look like you can sing. I can't. So, you can challenge me.
I'll take your word.
There is no singing here. But your other choices, Kendrick, love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Literally, I'm a massive hip-hop head, and I'm from that generation, so I'm just a student of hip-hop music. And that guy is on my Mount Rushmore. And he's been putting it down for just 10 years, roughly.
Right.
He is on the Mount Rushmore. That is how talented that guy is.
Super talented.
J. Cole is like his North Carolina cousin, right?
Yeah.
But I would like to see some more consistent production from him. Like sometimes the production,
True.
but
It can be iffy.
But I like what he's doing from a business perspective, and he's super
Branding
talented.
himself, And outside of that, man, I mean, I'm a musician, you know, like I said, so I just love good music, man.
Yeah.
I love alternative from Dave Matthews Band, Kt2, that kind of house feel.
Kt2,
bro.
I can get with that.
To Anderson .Paak.
Yeah, my wife hates Anderson .Paak. Hates him.
Yes, love.
I love him.
Yeah, he's dope.
But I understand why people hate his voice, and I know we're losing half the audience. They're like, "Who the hell are these people?" Look them up.
For real.
Put them in your Spotify. Put them in your Apple iTunes, whatever.
Yeah.
That dude, so talented. I think for me, you're a musician. I'm not a musician. I'm just an appreciator of music.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for talented artists like that.
Yeah,
like
real
that guy.
artists.
That guy, he's like the Rennie Curran of California, right? He plays like multiple instruments. He sings. He can rap. He does it all. Throw Anderson .Paak.
He's dope. I mean, I've never seen a dude like just that talented on the drums, but then can keep a full, like, and sing a full song while playing the drums, like complicated drum sets. Like it's crazy.
You can't do that?
Man, I've never tried to do that, or like just straight sing while I'm playing the drum. But he's like playing like triplets and like all types. I'm just like, and just singing like it's nothing, like it's normal. I'm just like, man, this dude from another planet.
So y'all, if you have not listened to this guy, y'all need to listen to him. He's one of my favorite artists right now, and one of Rennie's favorite artists. And then Pharrell, like, come on, Pharrell, Neptunes, NERD. Yes, you've been putting it down for like 30 years, which is crazy to say.
Right, that dude's a vampire, bro. He like still looks the same.
He does.
Yeah, like I did not know that he produced that song Rum Shaker. All I want to do is zoom a zoom.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Because that's Teddy Riley and that whole same Virginia Beach area.
I was watching VH1 and they talked about that, like how he got credits on that, like some crazy 17, 19 years old, something like that. I'm just like, man, this dude on a whole nother level.
Okay, so that was like 90 or 89, probably 90, 91. Yeah. So legit,
time,
we're saying it's like almost 30 years.
Yeah,
wow.
Bro. I'm 31, so.
Wow, you were rump shaking in them diapers.
Right, exactly, man.
All right, man. So I can rock with most of your music choices.
Nice.
You know, one of the things I wanted to talk about with you briefly is something that I'm passionate about, and I know that you're passionate about too, which is like mental health, right?
I was hoping you say that.
Especially with the Black and brown community.
Yeah.
It's
real.
It's real. It's really ignored. So let's chat about that. What are kind of your thoughts? And first of all, how close is this to you? Like, I know for me, and I've shared this many times on Business Bourbon, how important it is to me and how close mental health issues and all things are to me and part of my mission. What does it mean to you?
It's everything, man. It's so close. It's too close. My father was a product of a rape.
Damn.
Yeah. And not only that, was, abused as a child, did not meet his real father until he was my age now, 31. His mother abused him, as well, just by the things that she would say, comparing him, different things like that. So, when I mentioned like he lost his business, that triggered so many things to where he has not really bounced back, like, and been able to become the full version of himself. And I just recently got him into counseling. But it's just crazy, like, that a person who's had success can still be held back from things that happen from their childhood.
Oh, yeah.
And even myself, man, like, I've had to unpack and unlearn so many things from the football field. I've had to develop like a sense of self-love. And this is recent. it's crazy because, and Will Smith, I remember him talking about this, how we develop personas and we develop like different coping mechanisms that work and that help us in certain moments of our life. And those personas, those coping mechanisms end up hurting us in other areas of our life.
Oh, yeah.
The perfect example for me is like, because I was undersized, because I heard I was too short, I had to develop this mindset where it's like, I'm going to be a freaking human torpedo, heat-seeking missile. I'm not going to feel. That was the last thing I was ever going to do, was have emotions. So as I got out of the game of football, man, I had to learn how to have emotions again. And it was affecting my relationship. Like I was having relationship after relationship that would just end. And I'm acting out of character. I'm doing things that aren't even me. And I'm hurting people that are trying to love me.
Yeah.
And I'm not even able to feel, like I'm not even able to have empathy. And I'm a good person. I'm not a bad person. But it's just that all those years of just being in this environment, this hyper masculine environment where the last thing you want to do is talk about your emotions.
It's like war.
It's war. Yeah, it is. It affected me whether I want to accept it or not. And I had to do the work. I had to go and get counseling. I had to sit down by myself and break down my thoughts and emotions and unpack those triggers and like really, really do the work, man. And, it sucks that it came at the expense of hurting, the women in my life and other people in my life. But I can today say that I'm a much better man because I focused on my mental health and because I did that work and I was vulnerable and honest with myself, man.
Hey guys, Ronell here. Just wanted to take a brief moment to thank you for supporting the Business and Bourbon podcast and supporting Business and Bourbon live events. If you're a regular listener or you've attended one of the events, then you understand the importance of wisdom, and that it's something that's earned and not learned, and also how that can give you an edge in your business and on the sales floor. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching with me or having me deliver a sales workshop to your sales team, you can reach out to me and my team at ronell@ronellrichards.com. Neither myself or a member of my team will be in touch with you ASAP. Thanks again for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
And I want to say this too. I think one of the biggest things, people talk about changing the stigma. I think we really, that is so true. Like we have to get out of that mindset of thinking that therapy or counseling is for when you're in crisis mode or whatever. We have to flip that to, just like I'm an athlete, I had my coach, but I also had trainers that I met with during the off season that helped me develop special skill sets, that helped me to become the best version of myself. I believe therapy is no different. Counseling is no different. This is something not for a crisis, but it's to help you become the best version of yourself, the most efficient version of yourself. So I think once we start having that conversation and looking at it from that perspective, it's going to change, just how we look at mental health as a whole. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, you name any Fortune 500 CEO out there and they all have them. It's about performance.
Yeah, about performance, man.
And being able to perform at your highest level. The older that you get, too, there's just so much stuff in your brain.
Right.
Like, I got to tell you, now I focus a lot on brain performance.
Yeah.
So whether it's taking my oils and all the other stuff that I take to make sure that I'm present so that I can, when I sit across the table from you, I'm connecting and I'm listening and I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Or just to be able to, coach and train and speak all these things that we do, that everyone does on a daily basis. I find it, one of the things I learned, and I know you've made this transition too, is like, we focus a lot on our physical fitness and we're in the gym.
You took the thought right out of my head.
Yeah, but we're neglecting the thing that makes our money.
Yep. And the sports world is just now figuring that out. If you look at a lot of sports teams now, more than ever, they have some type of psychologist, they have some type of mental performance coach, mental toughness coach. Like they call them different types of things. It might go under grit, whatever it is.
I'm surprised it took so long.
Yeah, and this is the thing. There were guys doing it. The high performers, the Tom Brady's, the LeBrons, they were already doing it. They just weren't saying they were doing it.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I'm not surprised. Here's why. I thought I was surprised, but I'm not surprised because sports has always had this macho culture where it's like, oh, just be tough.
Right.
Suck it up.
Nah, the smart ones, the guys.
Process it.
Yeah.
Process it so that you can perform at a high level. Yep. That's really what you need to do at the end of the day. Because even the sucking it up, that's short term. Because as we just talked about, All you're doing is suppressing it.
Yeah, which is the worst.
Yeah.
Because it's going to come out some way or another eventually. And when it comes out, when it eventually does come out, it's not going to be pretty. You look at the sports world, military is another one. They focus on mental health. Like, I'll give you a perfect one that I learned from a guy, because I do some of that as well too. Mental toughness training or mental performance. But breathing, like they have a technique called 4x4 breathing, where you inhale for 4, you exhale for 4 counts. And what that does is it taps into your basically, you have your fight or flight part of your brain. Mm-hmm. I mean, I drank this thing, so I forgot the actual word, but your fight or flight part of your brain, and then your parasympathetic.
Yeah.
And it taps into your parasympathetic part of your brain, basically that slows down your nervous system, gets you out of that fight or flight. Like if you're in those high anxiety, like that's what I used to speak in. Because when I'm getting in front of that stage, my heart starts. And people who fear speaking, that's pretty much why, because your body is automatically tapping into that fight or flight. And that's just from, years and years of evolution. Like your brain can't tell if you're in front of a T-Rex or if you're in front of a crowd. So it eventually engages that fight or flight. Your heart starts beating fast, palms start getting sweaty, start getting anxious and fearful. But if you tap into that 4x4 breathing, it engages, like I said, that parasympathetic nervous system, slows down your heart rate, engages just those hormones that slow things down, tells your brain to relax, turns it from threat to opportunity, and then you're able to thrive.
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of my process as well. So not that specific method, but I meditate before every speaking engagement event, because there's always nervousness. I literally started public speaking when I was like 7 years old. And I get just as nervous today as I did when I was 7. But once you're in it, it's just what I do. But now what I have learned to do, because our brains are so much, when I was 7, I didn't have much on my brain. It's like, okay, there's my speech. Okay, let me go out and read it.
Yeah.
Now I get up there and I got the speech. I got, what's my kid doing? Oh, where's wifey at? Oh, man, I got to send this email to such and such. All these different things. And so the meditation is really, and not even a long meditation, a 5-minute meditation. Just to make sure that I'm present.
Right.
Because, once I can get somewhat, and I don't get relaxed, it just makes me more present. And then I trust my talent. I trust what I do. You trust your preparation.
Exactly.
That's in the football reference. It's the same thing. When you prepared, there's really nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
But still, like you said, there's that natural thing, the fight or flight thing, and the
sympathetic and parasympathetic.
Whatever, and the psychology and all that stuff. I'll leave that to you.
It's real.
It is real.
You got to study that stuff. I mean, once you start to understand how your mind and body works, so many things start to make sense. And then it's another thing that just gives you an advantage. Because you start to feel those thoughts come in and that anxiety and whatever it is, and you're like, oh, I know exactly what you're doing. And you have those mechanisms in place to basically shut it off.
To combat it.
Yeah, to combat it, man. So.
All right, bro. I know I've kept you on for a minute, but as we start to bring this thing to a close, I got one kind of last question for you. And it's just, you're obviously a very introspective guy, and you do a lot of self-analysis. If we were to go back, hop in a time machine, go back 10 years, what would be that sage piece of advice that you'd give yourself 10 years ago? And really, this is something that I ask my guests because we got young people listening to this. Like my kids are Gen Z. They don't listen to my podcast, but other people, because I'm not cool enough to them because, I'm their dad. That's how it is. For the record, you will never be cool to your kid. It's the way it is.
Oh, man. Right. Seriously.
I'm the coolest dad, like, for real. Like, no joke. I'm not just saying, like, I'm the cool dad. I always have been.
I
not
believe
cool
that as
in the
well.
sense of, like, I'm trying to be a kid. No, I'm just the dude that all the kids, they think's pretty cool. Anyway, to my kids, never. Never, man. It doesn't matter. Like,
Just
Brad Pitt and Will Smith's kids think they not cool. They're like, nah, my dad's not cool.
Right, he's a dad. Yeah.
So anyway, I always ask that question because I know there are younger people that are in the audience and like that are at that stage. They're at you at 20, 21, and could use some of that sage wisdom and guidance and the benefit of what you've learned over the last 10 years. So what would be that one piece you say, hey, look, young Rennie, this is what you need to know, son?
Man, so it definitely goes back to what I was saying before, just about unpacking, man. understanding yourself, understanding your values, having a clear vision, all those things, but really, 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 really taking that time to sit down with yourself, evaluating your thoughts, your patterns, your behaviors. The quicker you can start to understand those things, man, you're going to save yourself so much heartache, so much pain, so many nights of just like anguish and, you know, the failures and whatnot. And this is what we do a lot of times. We experience trauma, we experience hurt in our lives as children. We develop those mechanisms, right? And it helps us, right? We succeed to a certain point.
Yeah.
And what I realized is you cannot succeed, you cannot accomplish your way out of those things, out of that trauma, out of that pain, out of those things that affected you. So the more and more you can start to learn about yourself, and when you start to notice those patterns, attack it, the better off your life is going to be. And you're going to have true success. It's not just going to be in one area of your life. You know, because I use football as that escape.
So it's one thing to acknowledge this. What's the first step for them? Like, what was the first step for you? Was it finding a therapist? Was it finding something? What's that first step?
That first step, man, is just acknowledgement. It's just sitting down and saying, man, I got a problem. Like, that's the first step. And then just, you may not have that parent. Like, I have African parents, so it was tough to really talk about my emotions and like my perspective and different things. But finding, whether it's a coach, a teacher, one of your best friends that you really, really trust, just to have that, start that conversation. Like, man, like, I don't know why, but this keeps happening to me. Like, I'm feeling this way and I don't know why.
Yeah.
So just awareness, you know, acknowledging that you have some type of issue, not just putting your blinders on and just focusing on your grades and focusing on that sport. And because you're doing really well, that doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of there because that's what so many of us do. And our parents, society gives us that pat on the back, right? When we're accomplishing, when we got the good GPA and all that, not knowing we're dealing with this thing behind the scenes, and it's really, really affecting us.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Great advice, my friend.
Yeah.
Rennie, it was a pleasure, man.
Likewise,
We
bro.
could sit there and do this for a couple of hours, but we're going to lose the audience.
All right, we got to get that seminar going though, man, that boot camp.
All right. Hey, y'all heard it here first.
Yeah.
Y'all heard it here first. Don't be surprised, because y'all that listen to me and that follow me know one thing. I'm all about that action.
Yes, sir.
I don't play. All right, Rennie. Hey, we end every single podcast the exact same way. And this is your introduction to it. And it is with a strong "we out." And so on 3, you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right, on 3.
We out.
Thank you for listening to the Business and Bourbon podcast. Please subscribe. And if you like us, give us a 5-star rating. If you don't, have another drink. Maybe you'll feel a little bit differently. If you'd like to check out our videos, you can go to businessandbourbon.tv. That's businessandbourbon.tv. In addition to that, we're currently touring the United States with our Business and Bourbon live show. It's a fantastic show where we do a whiskey education and we do some Q&A, and it's a great networking event as well. So if you'd like to attend one of our Business and Bourbon live events, you can go to businessandbourbon.live. Again, that's businessandbourbon.live. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you the next time. Hey, listen, in today's business climate, you need every advantage you can get to get in front of your customers and prospects. That is why I use Co-Video. I use it on a daily basis to connect with my prospects, my customers, my clients, and my business partners. And I recommend you guys do the same. Co-Video is offering a 14-day free trial to listeners of this program. All you need to do is go to Co-Video, covideo.ronellrichards.com to take advantage of that. That's it, covideo.ronellrichards.com. All right, now back to the show.
We got to run to it, man. We got to unpack it. Your words, unpack it. Like, I don't know about you, but I spent a month ago the most emotional 2 weeks of my life. Okay. After George Floyd, after Ahmaud Arbery, I was forced to deal with my own trauma and everything that I had just suppressed for so long. All of the experiences, all of the abuse, all of the moments of emasculation that I just suppressed.
Right.
And for 2 weeks, I couldn't really keep my emotions straight. I'm crying like a baby. Like, I don't even know why, but it was because I was being kind of forced to deal with that.
Yeah.
And which is scary
Life
as
will
hell.
do that to you.
That's me, guys. Let's listen. This is real talk. Like, we're not going to sugarcoat things and tell you how it is. I know that. I think it's also super important. I'll tell you what I did, Rennie. I don't know if you caught this. You probably didn't, but people know me as a business guy.
Right.
I'm a businessman. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very focused. I'm very on brand. Growth, sales growth, entrepreneurship. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I posted a video, an emotional video.
Yeah.
It didn't intend to be emotional. I was being interviewed for a podcast in Australia, and they were asking me about, this was a month and a half, 2 months ago, they're asking me about what's going on. And as I started to talk about it, I broke down crying in the middle of this day.
That's when you know.
Yeah, and so it was super hard for me because like you, we're tough guys. This is what we're taught to do as black men. This is what we're taught to be. We got to be strong.
Yep.
We got to be strong. We got to lead. We got to, overcome, survive, do what it takes. I shared this moment of vulnerability, which was super difficult for me to do. But let me tell you why I did it. Because I'm a leader. Because we're leaders.
Yeah.
And as a leader, I understand that if I don't show that.
Right. It's bigger than you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's bigger than you.
The guys that look up to me, the girls that look up to me, like, they needed that because they need to know it's okay for them.
Yeah.
If I show that and I say, you know what? Yeah, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I'm hurt. I've been hurt. I'm working through it. It allows them, gives them permission in their minds to say, you know what? Ronell, I can do it too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Beyond that, also too, I have a very diverse audience. I have very diverse clients, all that.
Yeah.
We were talking before the show. I am Mr. Diversity. I dig diversity. Like, that's my mantra, right? And so it was important for me to share that with people that had not had those experiences in life as well, so they understand that, and they don't see me as different.
Right.
They don't see you as different. So as we're talking about things like whether it be racial injustice or mental health, like, I'm looking across the table at you and you're a strong dude. You just have that strong presence. But I think that it's important for guys like you to take the leadership and share what you just shared with the audience so that people understand that this is something that we all deal with and all have to deal with and should deal with. And it makes you stronger to deal with it. And it shows real courage to deal with it. So I applaud you for that.
I appreciate it, man. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm at such a great place in my life because of that work that I did, man. And I'm so passionate, like you said, about inspiring those in the black community, people in general, man, to really focus on that, man, because we talking, like, I thought about this, yesterday. We all talking about stimulus checks and the economics of the situation, but it don't matter how many stimulus checks you get if you are mentally, spiritually, physically broke.
Oh yeah.
You can't succeed your way out of trauma and the negative patterns and the bad behaviors and all those things. You can't. Success it can only be a mask for so long.
Yep.
Eventually it's gonna come crashing down. Eventually, and life is gonna make you face yourself. It's gonna bring you down to your knees, and you eventually gonna have to face that, or you're gonna have to risk losing those you love and everything that you worked for. Like, that's a choice you're gonna have to make.
Yeah.
So I'm so passionate about it, and I'm so glad that I did the work, man. And I can say that I'm not who I was, a month ago.
Yeah.
Because I decided, man.
Neither am I.
Yeah. So I hope those listening that's just really take the initiative, man, to really, if you got to go get counseling, man, if you got to journal, if you have to meditate, whatever you have to do, man. Because like I said, if you don't fix that, if you don't learn it, if you don't unpack it, it's just going to be passed down to your child in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And I began to see signs. Like, I began to see how my daughter would respond to me and how it was affecting our relationship. And that's when I was like, oh, nah, I can't do that. Because I know how it affected me and my father, the things that he went through in his life. The fact that his father wasn't there, and, like, he only did so much work. Like, his work that he did was that he said, I'm just going to be there, right? I'm just going to be in my family's life. I'm going to be that rock. I'm going to provide. But he didn't understand engagement, like knowing how to spend quality time.
So to be fair to your dad, because there's some, I'm listening to, and there's lots of things I can identify with.
Right.
To be fair to your dad, what he did do
Yeah, he
was
took a step forward. Yeah.
10 times more than what was done for him, right?
Yep, exactly.
And so I think it's
totally
also
agree.
important that we respect that and understand that, but
Yep.
also understand that it's now our responsibility to go
to
10x
move it
that,
forward.
because
Exactly.
I have a similar in some respects with, my dad was a fantastic dad. I am a very touchy-feely person, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm really about, he was not.
Yeah, no affection, yeah.
He was not, none of that, right?
Yeah.
And,
That's real.
that comes from his upbringing.
Yeah.
But you know what he did? He took care of business, right?
Yep.
And that was his way of
Yeah.
being there. Like, he took care of business, make sure that, we had what we need. I didn't have a lot of childhood luxuries, but I had everything I needed. Everything,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And I got a few years on you, and like, I had a computer from the time I was 5 years old, which kids just didn't have computers. When I was in high school, everyone didn't have a computer, but I did. Those are the sorts of things. That's what he did. But now it's incumbent upon me with my kids to
Right.
do more, to take that to the next level in
Yep.
terms of how I help them with their growth and leave some of my dad's baggage behind.
Yeah.
Works because we all carry baggage from
Yep.
our parents,
Yep.
good stuff and bad stuff, right? So like, there's some things that your dad taught you by being there
Exactly.
that has
Yeah.
made you a better man today. And but there's the negative stuff that we gotta accept it
Yep.
and realize that it is part of us,
Yeah.
right? It's
Part of what makes you great. And that's what goes back to what I was saying about those personas you develop and those experiences, where you develop those coping mechanisms and whatnot. Like, they help you in that
Yeah.
moment. Like, perfect example, my parents were always working. My dad, like I said, entrepreneur, wore every hat, worked 12 hours a day in a shoe repair shop that he owned and whatnot. So, as a result of that, couldn't come to any of my games really in, my little league days and whatnot, and it would hurt. But eventually, the thing about it, I would look around and, my teammates, most of their dads were the coaches. And so I'll see that interaction. I'm just like, man, had a great game and I'm wishing for that. I'm longing for that. Somebody to just be there. But eventually I developed that mindset and that coping mechanism where I told myself that, number one, I don't need nobody to motivate me. I'm gonna motivate myself.
Yeah.
And the next thing I told myself that had ripple effects was, people have more important things to do than to be with me, than to support me. And that played out in my life, man, so many times.
Yeah.
To the point where you do events, right? I try to have events so many times, but in my head, I'm thinking, people have more important things to do. And so what I would do is I would literally do this. And this was some of the unpacking I had to do. I would create an event and then I would just post it on social media, but I wouldn't personally invite anybody. Because in my head, I'm thinking if I personally invite them, they're not going to show up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I unpacked that and like learned that trigger and really spoke truth into that child that I was able to change things. And now I'm hosting my own events because I realized like I have to reach out to people.
Yeah.
Like, people do want to show up for me. People do care about me. And that was one of the game-changing moments in my life. So now I'm able to create moments, man, like special moments where I'm able to get my network in a room, a diverse group of people, and empower people, whether it's athletes, whether it's business professionals. That's where Sports and Business Network was stemmed from. And so it's just been another one of those things that I had to navigate, man, that ties to mental health.
Man, love it. Love it. Like, these are the sort of conversations that we have to have.
Oh, yeah, man.
And I want to encourage you guys that are listening, have these conversations, man. Get you a therapist. I talk about mine a lot. That's
It's
my
real,
dude,
man.
Dr. Rocky.
Especially
Shout out,
right
Dr.
now.
Rocky. What's up? And get you someone that is a good fit for you. For me, it's somebody that has been through it. Like, it was important to me that it was somebody that had tremendous life experience on top of the clinical training, right? So that I could connect on a higher level.
Yeah.
Took time to find that.
Yeah.
So do it. Find your person. Get them.